What's up, guys, and welcome back to the doctor's office. I am Dr. Kaori Knight, here to give you the proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comics and comic book characters. And you already know what it is. Comic book characters you may or may not know about. Today, we are talking about the nibling of Jessequick on Earth-11, and their name is Jess Chambers, aka Kid Quick. And again, they are the nibling for Jessequick on this Earth, and they are Jessequick's niece. Now, just like their aunt, they are able to use this equation to access the Speed Force and go faster. And they use this equation to counteract that effect and slow down, essentially. And on this Earth, Supergirl is actually very, I'm not going to say concerned, but she is surprised that Kid Quick is actually faster than her mother, who on this Earth is Superwoman. Now, Earth-11 does seem to be kind of like an inverted Earth. So people who are typically male on the main Earth or Prime Earth or New Earth are female on this Earth, and then vice versa. So Raven, for example, on this Earth, Earth-11, is actually a guy. Now, on this Earth, Jessequick is part of the Justice Guild, and Kid Quick is part of the sidekicks of the members of the Justice Guild. So when the members of the Justice Guild end up being controlled by Starla, the Star Conqueress, the sidekicks all get together so that they can free their mentors. So they end up fighting all of their mentors, freeing them, and once this mission was completed, they decided to create their own team, and they ended up calling their team Teen Justice. During the Pride Parade, or during a Pride Parade, Kid Quick had stopped Shimmer from stealing the goggles of Dr. Midnight, and they actually also ended up running into the Fatal Five and getting into a fight with them. They defeated them, and then they ended up running into Raven before he disappeared. And it wasn't the Fatal Five, it was the Fearsome Five. Excuse me. So later on, the team would go and rescue Dr. Shyla Stone from Hive. And during a team building exercise, team and teen being together in the same sentence, or it's killing me. During a team building exercise, the Teen Justice noticed that Robin and Supergirl had gone to Star Labs, and they ended up being attacked by thunder and lightning. But while they were trying to get to them to rescue them from whatever was happening there, they ran into Raven again, who was telling them about the Church of Blood. So they ended up coming up with a plan where they sent Troy and Raven into the Church of Blood to pretend to be new members. So they were trying to do an undercover mission thing. And while they were doing that, the rest of the Teen Justice went to this island called Zandia, where the Church of Blood was supposedly having their headquarters, and Kid Quick found a bunch of corpses, which actually ended up being children who had been aged rapidly. They ended up finding Thunder and Lightning, and Thunder and Lightning were trying to figure out what the hell was going on as well. And so they all went around this island, and they finally approached where the Church of Blood should have been, and all of the church members were dead. So they were trying to figure out who now was running the Church of Blood. Now, moving forward in the story, Jess found out about this grand conspiracy, which was going to end up destroying Earth Zero, so they traveled there. Now, while helping the Justice League of this Earth with the crisis that was happening, Jess decided to stay and live their life on this Earth. They ended up joining the Justice League on this Earth and taking over the Flash legacy on this Earth, because on their own Earth, the legacy of the Flash was basically extinct outside of them and Jessequick. And despite the rules of the Justice League against fraternization, they did end up dating Aquawoman. So along with the rest of the league, they decided to go to the abandoned building of the old Hall of Justice. And there they found that the Legion of Doom had been murdered. They were then attacked them and Aquawoman were then attacked at the Curry Lighthouse by the Hyper Clan, which was disguised as Superman and Wonder Woman. And the Hyper Clan ended up taking the Justice League hostage and impersonating them. Now, while the Justice League had been captured and were being impersonated by the Hyper Clan, they started fighting with each other about and accusing each other about who could be White Martian. Batman was very suspicious of Jess, one, because the White Martians have super speed, so it would be very easy for them to pretend to be a speedster. So Jess then proved themselves by using the vibrational pull between alternate dimensions to deduce that they were in an alternate dimension, and they were able to share their speed with the rest of the Justice League to make like a jump across dimensions back to Earth-0. When the Justice League had arrived back on Earth-0, they went up against the Hyper Clan, who was about to put their plan into action, and Batman and Jess had went up against Protex, who was the leader of the Hyper Clan at this time. Protex took on Jess's form, and he and Jess began fighting. When Aquawoman, whose name is Andy, came in, she was trying to figure out who the real one was, but she realized who the real one was because Jess called her Princess, which was her private name from Jess. So they figured out who the real one was. The Hyper Clan was defeated and recaptured, and that was when Jess had revealed themselves to the Justice League, telling them all about themselves. And they accepted Jess into the Justice League, basically. And when they rebuilt the Hall of Justice to restart as the Justice League headquarters, they invited Jess, who became part of the Justice League. Jess is part of the Flash family. They are able to share their speed with other people. They are able to sense dimensional rifts. They are able to go through different dimensions without an issue. They are, of course, a speedster, so they do have the speed. They have the super fast healing as well, the reflexes, like everything that comes with being part of the Flash family and being a speedster. They have that. They are also non-binary, so they go by they them, and that is Jess Chambers, aka Kid Quick. How do I feel about this character? I love Jess, and I honestly wished that there was more of them. Jess is probably one of my favorite Flash members, or Flash family members, and they don't really get enough credit. And I want more of them because they are fun. They do end up going up against a character named Reflect. That was a very interesting thing because that person is a fan of Mirror Master, who is a constant villain for the Flash. So that being a villain for them, I thought was really, really cool. And I really think that they should do more for Jess because they are very, very nicely written, and it would present that representation, because all of that stuff that happened with them on Earth-0 is from Future State. So I think they need to be in more things. But that is it for this episode, and I will see you again at your next appointment.